What is your excuse? He's a liar. Neighbors with this dude. Claims you only ever met him once. Lived next to him for 20-some years.
That's crazy.
Proven liar. Advising the President of the United States every day.
I need to talk to you about something serious. Last week, I received a demand letter from lawyers representing Kanakuk Ministries, a Christian summer camp in Missouri. They're threatening to sue me for defamation because of something I said on my podcast with Congressman Ro Khanna. Here's what I said. I brought Elizabeth Phillips on my show, and she talked about how Kanakuk employees have been molesting thousands of kids for years and putting them under NDAs after settlements so they can never come out and talk about their sexual abuse and trauma. Kanakuk's lawyers are demanding I take down that portion of the interview, issue a public apology, and stop talking about this. They gave me 10 days. That deadline has passed. Here's my response. No.
Trump telling the American people the Epstein files are done. Stop talking about it.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
There's nothing to see here, is what they have continued to say.
I think it's really time for the country to get on the subject. Now that nothing came out about me.
He's sitting there saying, let's just move on. There's nothing to see here. Nothing about me. Oh, because it's all about you, isn't it? I don't think anybody denies the guy is a narcissist. But I mean, it is just really awful that there's clearly victims. There's clearly bad things that have happened. And rather than saying he's for getting justice for these Americans, for these people who've been harmed, he instead says, well, there was nothing about me in it, so let's all move on. Even though there actually was plenty about him in it, but he doesn't want to address that at all. Trump goes on and says the same thing. Just going on about, well, this was a conspiracy against me is what this was. That's what this was this whole time. Just a total narcissist.
Epstein conspired against me. Did you know that, Mr. Senator? They conspired against me, so I lose the election. So that takes care of Epstein as far as Trump is concerned. But you got a lot of Democrats out there that are very much involved with Epstein. It's really a Democrat problem.
Real information has not come out. We've been told so many lies on this. There were only 4 Republicans, 4 of us, that really fought to get him released, signed the discharge petition, went against the White House, and we were all threatened, and you all saw what happened to me. Finally, Donald Trump called me a traitor. He told me that his friends would get hurt. And to me, I'm like, I don't know why you would be friends with anyone that would do this to women and teenage girls. The Epstein files need to come out. They're breaking the law that Donald Trump signed. And so if the administration doesn't release it all, I can't imagine why anybody would vote for Republicans. To me, it's like a line in the sand. And I think it's that way for a lot of people.
Why do you think they're...
A beautiful human. It's Dr. Forn. As a medical doctor, I took a Hippocratic oath 27 years ago, an oath of ethics vowing to protect the vulnerable, especially children, that known childhood abuse is a reportable offense. It is one of the few things for which we can break confidentiality. This week, 2 internationally renowned physicians, Dr. Peter Attia and Dr. Deepak Chopra, both came out on the Epstein files. I do not know if they are pedophiles, but they both associated with a known pedophile. Attia, who in his book reports his own sexual assault as a child, grew up to become an emotionally dysregulated man and associated with a known pedophile. I'm disappointed, I'm disgusted, and I cleaned up my bookshelf. I didn't want to have his name looking back at me. As a sign of resistance and protest, block them. Block Attia, block Chopra. They do not deserve your time or attention.
Well, welcome into the meat of the matter, everybody. This is it's going to be a different one today. When we first initially started to, just before I introduce our guests, when we decided to do the show about the Peter Attia factor in this. I had to do obviously I wanted to pull some clips and to feel what people are saying. And this was a very hard one for me to even put together, because the deeper I went down, it went into some very dark places. This is very uncomfortable to talk about, but I think it's our duty and our place, and to actually get this, to talk about it, to get it out there. And where this conversation is going to go today, I don't know. We have a couple of very special guests, just to give a little bit of reasons why before we run our little intro. Lisa, we invited her on to do a live chat on Friday, I believe, and it got messed up with our technology. The internet wasn't on our side that day, so we invited her back to talk about this stuff on Sunday. Now we're going to get into what her take on this is very interesting. And of course, Dr. Jocelyn Foran, we had her on, funny enough, on Thursday, I believe it was Thursday, and we had a great podcast talking about her stance in the medical system, what she's all about. If anybody, she's an amazing, beautiful soul, and if anybody's interested in finding out that side of things, please go to our channel, go to the live that we did with Dr. Foran. So Mark and I asked if she wanted to come and talk about this, because she put up the video, and if anybody didn't see that in the intro, I've got it. We might play it later, but she basically, said a lot of things that we were hoping people would speak out with in this Peter Attia thing. We are going to get into it today, and I hope people get involved in the chats, and we want to know what you're thinking about this. But firstly, we're going to get into all this. I'm going to run the show. This is I'm feeling awkward and almost sick, but I think it's necessary. So we're getting into all of that today. Welcome to the Meat of the Matter, everybody.
Is sick and fucking tired of seeing all the carnivore shit all over this fucking house.
I can't even look at a carbohydrate.
Now that I think about it, we probably would.
That it doesn't make sense.
I was tired of the guessing games, faking health, playing diet names, low fat life, vegan soul, but deep inside I didn't feel whole. Then came fire, then came fat, steak on the plate, I bounced right back. No more crashing, no more drag.
You're literally treating your diet like a fucking religion.
Looking forward to talking about this recent controversy. I've already been doing it for over 2 weeks now.
Your fiber intake is fucking zero.
There is a constant in the calculation.
It is the most toxic fucking diet I have ever seen. Ever. It's not healthy. It is far from fucking healthy. Okay? It is the least fucking healthiest thing you could ever do for yourself.
All right, we are live. It is Sunday. It is the Meat of the Matter. Thanks for everybody joining us today. We're going to get into some controversial stuff. I mean, when Mark and I and Peter decided to do this podcast, we all agreed we're going to get into some uncomfortable places. I did not ever think that this would be one of them. And today, Lisa, thanks for coming back and hanging out with us on the prime time, I guess you could say. Friday didn't work out, but thank you for your patience with the technology, and now we have you back to have to kind of sub in for Peter. I think Peter's going through some stuff with his family, so he might be taking a time out today. But thank you for coming on, and we will get to everybody. Mark, how you doing?
All good, man. All good.
And Dr. Jocelyn Foran, she is amazing. Her content always starts with "Hello, beautiful humans" or "Beautiful human," and we're gonna respect her time. She's very busy, and we're honored that she could come back and talk about this and take it on firsthand. If you don't know, the internet is lighting up with the Epstein files. Now, us in the health and fitness, whatever community, including the carnivore community, which is a big shout out to Brian. Thanks for all your support, man. We appreciate you. We love the carnivore community. We're proud supporters of you, and we appreciate your support. But Dr. Foran made a video with this time, basically saying, first do no harm. That's an oath that all doctors have to take, and clearly she takes it very seriously. So, Dr. Foran, can you sort of walk us through what's happened from your perspective with this Peter Attia? When you found out, how did you feel, and what sort of led you to make that video?
Thank you, and thank you for your kind introduction to Tony. For me, I found out about it last Saturday, and I think I was gobsmacked. I was dumbfounded. I felt, I think of emotions as sometimes like a grocery bag. You can carry multiple emotions at once. And for me, I was carrying disappointment, rage, disgust, betrayal. That, you know, as physicians, we practice with privilege. It is a privilege to care, right? And I feel it is a privilege to be able to have people trust us. And are we worthy of that trust? And when you find out that someone's moral character, their backbone is not what you thought it was, then it makes me question, for me personally, everything about that person, about the relationship I forged. Even though that person doesn't know me, I'm listening and I'm trusting the information they provide. But if that person can't even, you know, be trusted in a relationship with his family, if he does other things that are irreprehensible or, you know, are morally corrupt, then how can I really trust him with all the other information that he's given me too? So and from what I've learned, there were over 1,700 interactions between Attia and Epstein. Epstein was convicted of being a pedophile in 2008. A lot of these interactions happened with Attia in 2016, so 8 years after a known conviction, being a pedophile. And yeah, the emails themselves were disgusting, right? So this isn't just like a one-off mistake. It was perpetrated multiple times. And though he came out, I both confess I didn't read his rebuttal with great detail because I'm kind of emotionally cut off, I think, from him. However, he said that he never went to the island, but he's been to the mansion, right? So does that give him, you know, some type of, you know, glory? No. So I feel like it's, for me, he's violated the very oath that we all took, right? So.
And like well said, because it's cut off. I actually was thinking about putting on his rebuttal, but then I thought, you know what? No, I'm not going to give this guy any more like nothing. Like this is the rebuttal was very, yeah, I don't know. You could tell it was brought on falsely. It's not genuine. It has nothing to do with anybody that he affected or harmed. It was more about him. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Just before we sort of continue, I just wanted to mention, this is really hard for me because I was trying to remember things to talk about. And it's like, this is a nonpartisan. This doesn't matter about your politics. This doesn't matter what you believe in. This is about trust and the powers that be, who we place our trust in. We have all been, wherever you're coming from, you must have felt it. And
I'll just add on that, Tony. I mean, this is why we should be all united together now after all this, because what's going on in the world at the moment, it's pretty clear to see. We've been lied to for a very, very long time. So whether you're on the left or the right or whatever you are at the moment, this should open your eyes now and say, you know what, enough is enough now, and we need to all start uniting together. If that's going to be the main message we get off this podcast, and that's what people need to listen to.
Yeah, I agree. And Lisa has an interesting take on this because, Lisa, you didn't know who Peter Attia was. And then I think you found out from me telling you want to come on Sunday, and then you get thrown into this hornet's nest. So I wanted to maybe get your take on this.
Yeah, absolutely. So since Friday, I was like, who's this Peter Attia of which you speak? Because, like, you know, I'm not an American and, it's not all over my news feed. So all I had to do was just put his name in the internet and then, whoomph, gosh, it was all there. I was like, wow, I've been hiding under a rock. And so, I thought I'll just, catch up with who this guy is. I'm not, I'm aware of the Epstein files. It's not something that, I follow with any vigor. And so I've kind of had to catch up a little bit in order to be a part of this conversation. And, just what Jocelyn said there about if you can't trust these people with that one thing, if they don't have that spine, that backbone, and that's the word that really got me there, Jocelyn. Like, if a person doesn't have the backbone, the spine to stay away from somebody like that they know full well this person's personality, they know who they are, irrespective of this rebuttal. I read a little bit of this rebuttal just via YouTube videos and so on, and I thought, so what? So what are you doing even talking to this guy? I can understand, the human idea of like, gosh, this is a very big, powerful person. Maybe this is going to be great for my career. But flipping heck, have some people got no standards or what? And I think if a person doesn't have that kind of basic standard, then I just can't trust them with anything. Exactly what Jocelyn said. I'm 100% in agreement with you.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Foran, you know, you've been through medical school. You took the oath. You obviously take it very seriously, which we commend you for, and we're very honored to have a doctor that stands by her values and morals. How do you feel when you're in medical school? Was when everybody, your colleagues or your class, so to speak, took the oath? Did you even notice anything then? Were they serious? What is your take just from that perspective?
Yeah, actually, it's a great question, Tony, because I took my oath at my graduation ceremony, and that's a somber day and a happy day. Again, it's a lot of different emotions going on, but I remember saying the words and just they felt so heavy. Right. And at that point, I had already been caring for patients. I knew that I had a duty that not only to report certain things, but also to keep my mouth shut, to be confidential, not, utter a word about an interaction, to treat people with respect, to do unto others. But saying that oath out loud was really quite profound. Right. And I feel like, and I would like to say that I have worked with literally for hundreds, if not thousands of doctors over the last 27 years. And the vast majority are kind, hardworking humans that want to do the best for the human before them, right? And they really do lead lives that are, I gotta say, pretty boring. They're often, just good people. Even though they might be perfect, they're good people. And I just feel like what happened perhaps with Attia is that he was blinded by his status. And I feel as though it was all ego. I'm not excusing him. Maybe I'm just explaining him, but there were times I couldn't listen to his podcast because it was just so much about ego and about him and how I remember the last one I heard of him talking about. He said about how wellness people are always talking about the mitochondria, and then he goes on with the mitochondria. It's as if he was the only one that can talk about it, right? But it's. Did he have the integrity, right? And I'm not sure how far he went in his training. I know he finished medical school and
he didn't finish his residency.
Didn't finish his surgical residency, and I'm not sure what that was. But yeah, there's a lot of him that I don't understand. I don't know. I think he's done a very good job on the science, but that certainly does not excuse anything that he's done in his personal life. How he handled his son's cardiac arrest, I'm not sure if you were aware of that, but it was written about in his book that I think his son was 5 or 6 weeks old, had it sounded like a cardiac arrest. His wife resuscitated him at home. She's a nurse and has excellent training, bright woman, called him, for which his answer was, "Let me know when you get to the ICU and I'll talk to the attending." He didn't come home right away.
No.
His son died, could very much have, not recovered from that insult, and yet he stayed on the trip. And I'm not sure where the trip was, but I think it might have been New York. But
yeah, we can speculate. And I mean, 1,700 emails. I wonder where he was. That shows the depth of character. Now, I've never been a big fan of Peter Attia. I always found him very arrogant and a matter of factly. There's a lot of people speaking out. I mean, Bart Kay, like him or not, he's been calling out Peter Attia's science for a very long time. And when he's, it's not about I told you so, especially from that, but this gets into the trust factor. And I think a lot of people in the health, when you're trying to get healthy, we are bombarded with both sides. We're bombarded with this is good, this is bad, you do this, do that. Then when you have somebody with 1 million followers on his podcast, on his YouTube persona, when he speaks with utmost authority, what does the average person do? They look at not to Dr. Jocelyn Foran, not to Lisa Cherry Beaumont, not to Coach Mark. They look to him, and it's the word. It's absolute. He tells you to do zone 2 cardio. That is the way. He tells you to go on statins. You do that. ApoB is the problem. The heart disease. This is the thing. And now all that falls apart. And there's people out there that are justifying it, that are saying, well, he's a nice guy. And that's what scares me. And Mark, do you have anything to
Oh, 100%, Tony, because we've had this conversation many, many times. Every time I put up one of these comments or one of these videos, you know this because I put it up on TikTok and it gets shut down straight away. straight away. Like it's like I get warnings from these people. I get strikes from these people, and it's like you can't fight back. You can't even have a conversation about this. And that's the problem. It's that word in there, that conversation. We're not allowed to have that conversation. It's like, okay, you need to listen to us. We're the experts here. You know what I mean? You guys need to shut up. You know what I mean? These people are saying to us, like, for years and years and years, what was been said? You guys are the crazy ones. You guys are dangerous. This is just conspiracy theory. When it turned out that those people that were asking the questions were the ones that were always right.
And even I found like Attia's approach to, his whole idea about longevity is fear-based, right? That he does not want to die. He has a mortal, a desperate fear of death, right? And I always think of, people think of what is the opposite of love is hate. No, the opposite of love is fear, right? And so he has a very fear-based approach. I think, life is so much better when it's all love-based, right? So, to approach longevity as like, I love getting older and I love being kick-ass while I do it. With Attia, it was all very polypharmacy, right? So he was constantly hacking everything from metformin to SGLT2 inhibitors so he could just urinate out his glucose. And it just, I don't know, it felt like he was always trying to, he was playing the system, and who knows, maybe he was encouraged to do that from sponsors. I have no idea, but it felt very odd that he would be taking all these drugs, trying to, with known side effects. SGLT2 inhibitors are not anything small to play with.
Can I just say, Jocelyn? I know I said this when you did up the video yesterday, but honestly, I salute you. Like, honestly, unbelievable, because like this is what we need. We need people like you that are coming out of the system and saying, "Well, hang on a second, I need to question a few things here. This is not going right here." Whereas I know there's a few people in the system that already know this, but are not deciding to make that decision because it could be financial, it could be political, it could be whatever the case is. But it's such a shame that, because I know you're not the only one. There's many people that are in the system at the moment that know this is happening, and they're not deciding to come out, and that's what's really frustrating. That for me is the biggest frustrating part.
Yeah, and Lisa, not knowing so much about Peter Attia, obviously, this is kind of you just had the bombardment where, all of us, I know just from knowing you guys a short amount of time, you've come to these things on your own. Dr. Foran, you mentioned you did, in our video, you learned zero about nutrition in medical school. Lisa, I know your story. You something happened to you so profoundly that you had to start speaking out about it, right?
Yeah,
so how
absolutely.
do you, how are you processing things right now? Like, what are your thoughts on that, coming from, somebody that's in the UK that's not necessarily Peter Attia known anyway, if that makes any sense?
Yeah. Well, I have to say, what you mentioned is people sticking up for him and saying that he's a nice guy and everything. I just think that really says a lot about society's mentality, doesn't it? It's like still grasping after somebody that it's all out there in the open, what kind of a character this person is. How anybody can be so blinded by saying, he was a good person, and just he said, he didn't mean anything by it, and I just think it leaves me with a really bad taste in my mouth about society not actually seeing this for what it is, but actually again just making excuses for something which is obviously a lie, a cover-up. It's evil. It's very disappointing, about society in general.
Well said, and that's where I come into. As hard as this is to say, silence is complicity. I don't give we all need to be speaking out about this and not putting up with it at all. Like, there's, in a court of law, I don't know what would happen, but these things are, for any normal person looking at this whole situation, this guy, I'm sorry, is evil. And I'm going to hold back because there's a lot of things I really want to say. And I mean, I've been known to do my rants, but this isn't the time. This is the time to really, really get uncomfortable, talk about it. And, you know, Lisa, this is, I'm so sorry we put you into this situation where, you know, we're going to, you know, pedophilia, really? But this is the crux of it is this person was trusted and celebrated, and look at what's happening. So there's no excuse. Now, I want to take a little bit of a turn because today I didn't know where we were going to go with all this. And there's a lot of people that I confided in through the pandemic, through my nutritional journey, through my health journey. One of them is a fellow Irishman with Mark. His name's Ivor Cummins. And as far as logic goes, with his take on metabolic health, what he's done in the past was arguably life-saving for me. And when he came out, I didn't know that he had a problem with Peter Attia back in, funny enough. And I want everybody, because like later on in the podcast, I think there's a pattern here. And I have a theory that sort of dawned on me doing all this research that, and Dr. Foran sort of hinted on it. I think Peter Attia was manufactured by the deep state. And if you pay attention to all the clips that we're going to play today, there's certain times that sort of stand out when this all started, when he's flipped, and we'll get into it. But I want to play this from Ivor Cummins just to kind of set it up, and then we can all talk about it.
Okay, guys, this is a killer compilation. So I've done all the work. I've pulled together a ton of the incredible stuff that's coming out of the recent Epstein release. And I've put it all here together for you. So please share, subscribe, and absolutely comment down below. This one's a doozy. You don't want to miss it. But it's pretty disturbing stuff. And I wonder how widely this attitude is taken amongst the elites, to be quite honest. Now, I'm going to finish with this one because it's a personal note, in a sense. So this guy, Attia, way back in 2018, he came out with a lot of pro-pharma, anti-coronary calcification guff, and I took him on with data on Twitter. So he blocked me. And then afterwards he said, I don't agree with a thing this guy says about heart disease, but I assumed he was just wrong out of poor knowledge or ignorance. Now, I'm nearly 15 years in the science of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, insulin resistance, etc. I've a massive worldwide network, in fairness, and absolutely everything I've said on heart disease is correct. And he's saying he doesn't agree with any of it. So what did he believe then? But in any case, it was clear that Attia, a good few years ago, suddenly switched from focusing on insulin resistance and low-carbon keto and the real science, and switched to statins, PCSK9 inhibitors, and promoting the absurd and ludicrous cholesterol hypothesis. And soon after, he blocked me for trying to call him on it. So I was kind of interested the other day when it turns out he's up to his neck in the Epstein files. 1,700 mentions and emails, etc. And there's articles in all the lamestream about this, and obviously he's in a pickle now. No schadenfreude on my part, but poetic justice, yeah.
Okay, so I'll start with you, Mark. How do you feel about that? Like, what?
Sickening, absolutely sickening. It really is just absolutely sickening.
And
what
then,
else? What else do you want me to say? Like,
yeah, well, I'll say this: Ivor Cummins is definitely not poor knowledge and ignorant. Like, you know, that's one thing that you can say. And what did Peter Attia do? Attacked his character. Yeah. That's classic character assassination. And
we're not surprised, though, are we? We're not surprised.
And if you look, and Lisa, let's go through. Sorry, guys. Let's get your take on this, Lisa. Do you know who Ivor Cummins is? And what do you think?
Well, irrespective of who Ivor Cummins is, I was just thinking about, you know, I often see, you know, Mark's lives and videos that he does, and what Mark actually says, don't you, Mark, is look, if you disagree with me, let's have a conversation about it publicly, because if all we want is for people to be well, and I've got one perspective and you've got a different perspective, let's hash it out. Let's have a conversation about it. And it sounds like this Ivor Cummins was going, look, you know, I've got a different perspective to you. Let's talk about it. Block. You can't just block somebody. It's like, why not have this conversation?
I say this
genuine.
Yeah, I say this all the time, Lisa. I'm like, why can't we not just work together? Why can't we not just work together? Like,
exactly.
why is there this pushback when it comes to the carnivore diet? Like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, people are just like convinced that it's never going to work, and then you have over 1 million people in the world that have, put most of their symptoms into remission, all from high cholesterol, by the way. You know what I mean? And it's like, how can you argue against this? Like, how? Like, it's unbelievable. And that's why I get really frustrated when I do these videos, because it's like, these people just don't want to listen to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just crazy.
It's so much of a mindset, I find, because you look at, so much of medicine is a fixed mindset. If I do this every time this way, it's going to be perfect. And perfect is a tall and wobbly pedestal. Perfect doesn't like to be challenged, but science is a growth mindset. Good science is, and science grows by challenge. The whole idea of the scientific method is that you go into an experiment planning to prove yourself wrong.
Yes.
And if you weren't wrong, right, then okay, you might have something. But
can I just add as well, if anybody who thinks that this is not a problem, then you're the problem. It really is that simple. I don't care what anybody else says. If you think that this is not a problem, then you need to look at yourself. You need to look at yourself in the mirror.
Definitely, definitely. I reached out.
Attia wasn't up for the challenge with Cummins. That's why. Right. So he went into protection mode and defense mode, and he's like, I'm putting up a wall.
Now, he mentioned something before. I know you wanted to say something, Lisa, but I'm going to put this timeline back on stage on the show here. Now, you look at his timeline where I'm going to get your take on this, because it's Newsy. If you don't know who Gary Taubes is, this guy, like him or hate him, was against was basically screaming the sugar's a problem, insulin model. Peter Attia started the New Science Foundation, which is, Gary Taubes, if he's one thing, he's always spoken out about, we need to get the science in order to do these tests properly and expose these trials. He clearly had a shift. Because you would not go into business, let alone endorsement factors, and associate yourself with Gary Taubes if you felt that he was wrong. Because, I have seen some debates with Gary Taubes and Stephan Guyenet and all these people. This doesn't make sense to me, where you're like, hey, let's start a new foundation to bring new world thinking, the low carb model, so to speak, into the forefront, and really go, and then all of a sudden have a 180 and go right against everything. And now, because we all have seen Peter Attia's arrogance, I'm not going to deny that. Look at what happened. He did a complete script, and when our flip. Now, when Ivor Cummins said when this happened, this timeline coincides where he switched. He left. He launched Newsy in 2012. Then by 2014, he was blogging, and his podcast came out in 2018. There was a definite shift. Was he bought and paid for? I know, Mark, we've talked about this with Eddie Goki, and Eddie Goki thinks that there's something's going on where these influencers are all of a sudden jumping ship or flipping their script on their belief systems. Why? Is there money involved? And I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I've always said there is. Go ahead, sorry, Jocelyn. Go ahead.
No, I think because the letters with Attia, I think they were, at least some of the ones I saw, they were dated 2016.
Yeah.
So he was making that, and even Deepak Chopra, right? Yeah. He was making, inroads often for money, right? Yeah. So he was, he was trying to get money from Epstein, and likewise, I wouldn't doubt the same thing with Attia, right? Yeah. So, yeah.
And if you look at this timeline again, and you see when the podcast launched in 2018 to 22, he became like this. You could see the sort of leveling up. Like, he went from just being a guy trying to I am the man. And you can see it here. Now, I'm going to play a clip from Elliot Overton. I don't know if you guys know about Elliot Overton. I found Elliot through the Sally Norton oxalate. He's done great work into oxalates and the potentials, also with B1 and thiamine. Elliot Overton is a very logical guy. And he said, when I was watching, because when I was doing this, I was like, what? Everybody's something different to say. So we'll watch this one, and I want to get your guys' take on it.
Why Dr. Peter Attia was shilling so hard for the mRNA shots during COVID. Well, now it makes sense when you realize how close friends he was with this guy, Jeffrey Epstein, who also happens to be best buddies with this guy.
You don't get to send a kid to school without vaccination, which, by the way, I think was the right thing to do 100%. Both the Moderna vaccine and the Pfizer vaccine, I think anybody can say unequivocally there can't be any complications in the short run that are clinically relevant. Society may have to make decisions about who can and can't have other certain privileges, such as travel.
Okay, can you, the audacity of this guy to say other people in society would have certain privileges. Wow. Unbelievable. Now this, I wanted to tie this into the sort of the COVID, not the fact of vax or unvaxxed. Look at what this guy was. He followed all the corporate shilling, if you will. Not to mention that was around the same time frame that, Bill Gates started talking about this stuff. So I think he was manufactured. I think Peter Attia's persona was created for a specific reason. And I think that might have had something to play. I don't know what you guys think.
Possibly. I mean, I'm kind of thinking that, some people just go along with what they think is going to get them views and what's going to get them popularity. And irrespective of whether there's somebody actually behind him buying him, if he thinks that he, kowtows to somebody's narrative and that's going to push him further, then it doesn't matter if there's a specific individual, feeding money into his pockets, more that, this is what's going to get me further. This is going to help the algorithm. This is going to be preferred by YouTube. This is going to get me, more views, more popularity, more ego, ultimately more fame, more success, more money. And I think that is a very big push for a lot of people because, unfortunately, a lot of people just don't have a spine and morality.
Yeah.
Well, clearly this guy, but I don't necessarily think, I understand where you're going with this, that maybe he has actually been bought, but I think there's a possibility that it could simply be, he was thinking, this looks like a good idea for my career.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and both cases are possible, right? Like that's the thing. I'm not talking about being bought or manufactured, but it's the funding, where the money is coming from and how he's getting popular. And if you look at his rise to fame, he's all of a sudden on all these podcasts. He's on everywhere, and then he's a CBS health advisor, This is crazy.
Really? Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Dr. Foran, anything to add? Anything?
It is follow the money, right? So, and I really do feel, I think that's that timeline that you presented is excellent. And I think it shows regression of his ethos, right? That he probably did get some type of financial incentive to change his narrative, to change his perspective, to start promoting things differently. And let's face it, in 2020, so smack dab in the middle between 2018 and 2022, it was a pandemic. So people were listening to way more podcasts. So the timing for him couldn't have been any better, right? It's just that is popularity.
No doubt. I think James has just popped on. I want to see if James, do you want to say something?
James is going to pop on when Jocelyn leaves.
Okay, we got James on the win. So and Dr. Foran, whenever you're ready, like it's all good. We appreciate you coming on for this time, and we know we appreciate your time. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, I appreciate this opportunity. I think it's really great that this is something that the community is talking about and appreciating, and more than anything, to try to think about the impact that their choices has made on society, on those women, on those young women, those girls when they were assaulted. And maybe this can be part of a bigger conversation too about how children and women in particular need better protection. And I really think I admire the integrity of the men in this community. And thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Well, no problem. And you come back anytime. And you guys, metabolic medical. Is it metabolic medical? I can read. I swear. Go follow Dr. Foran. She's a breath of fresh air, especially for all of us. Especially when you're starting to really challenge the medical system, question the medical system. It's
there to be questioned.
Yes,
it's there to be questioned. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jocelyn. See you soon. Bye-bye.
So anybody, just go check out our conversation with her. She's all over Instagram as well. And Dr. Foran, a fellow Canadian. Oh, there's hope for us. She brings us some light into this. And her video, when she threw that book away, you just can tell her standards, where she sets herself, and beautiful.
But this is why we need the likes of Dr. Jocelyn in here, and we need Christopher as well. These people are speaking up for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we don't have the platform to do this.
Yeah.
I wish I had 1 million followers watching me every week. I wish I was a Ken Berry or a Sean Baker, but you know what I mean? But we're getting there. At the end of the day, we still have to spread this message, because there's a lot of people that need to hear it.
Well,
I think that's important.
Absolutely. And also, look at the fact that, Dr. Jocelyn is a doctor. And one of the things, some of the pushback that you might get sometimes, Mark, that I get, that you probably get as well, Tony, is like, well, you're not a doctor. You didn't go to medical school. Well, Dr. Jocelyn did. She did. And now she's going, well, this is BS. You need to be following what, Tony, Mark and Lisa are talking about. And she has done the training.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna bring James on the stage, and I'm gonna ask a question to you all. And this is what kind of, when I'm watching this stuff, it's hard to hold back my rage. Like, this has been a tough one, really. James, what's up, buddy?
What's going on? Hello, glad to be here.
James is driving again. He's always driving.
I'm driving back from a Kilts meetup.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Tampa, yeah. Mark and I were on together 2 days ago, and I was driving up to it in Tampa, and I'm driving back home to Miami, Florida now. But what a conversation this is.
So exotic, isn't it? Isn't that exotic?
So, buddy, what's your sort of, where's your head at with all this stuff going on?
Well, similar stories. I've not really been into it. I'm very, very aware of the implications or allegations here. Not good at all. And be careful who you listen to. Just because, Mark, you don't have 1 million followers, like you said, you'd like to have it, you're going to make a positive impact on, call it 1,000 people. And that's better than a void person with 1 million plus followers having influence and sending false narratives to people, giving them false hope, and they're not having truths. You're building 1,000 people. I'm just giving a random number here, but call it 1,000 people have learned how to take care of themselves, to take ownership of their lives. And those 1,000 people will then expand it to the next 1,000, and it will keep expanding that way. That is much better than what Peter Attia has ever done.
Absolutely. And like you said, James, I have a duty now. I have a duty to do this. Like I feel I have to do this now. I feel like I'm not going to be silenced anymore. I feel like I've been silenced way too long now. And as I put up on my messenger, on my video earlier on, there's too many people suffering. There's too many people asking questions, and they're not getting the answers that they're looking for. And if I can make that small bit of difference in the world, then you can be damn sure I'm going to be doing it. Damn sure.
Yeah, and I think the message, you said it right away when you jumped on, James, is like, be careful who you trust and use your discernment. We all have to do this. And I mean, for my whole journey, my whole path, I've been ridiculed. I don't care. That doesn't bother me. But now the people that they reference are, this guy said that, or, well, you don't know anything. This guy says, this is a perfect example. And I know all of us on this screen right now has come into something that arguably saved their lives because of how they felt. And when they stopped listening and started feeling, that's the power. And I mean, I learned stuff about nutrition that blew my mind. I could not deal with it for a very long time. How could society be so wrong about nutrition? This is the foundations of our health, and they're wrong. And it's really tough to swallow. But once you do, and you start to realize and listen to James and listen to Lisa and listen to Mark, all of a sudden these things open up. And I think that's a big, powerful message with this bullshit that's going on. And I don't want to give it any more attention or time, but we have to talk about it. We have to talk about the deeper implications of this, because it's our systems, it's our institutions that we're putting faith and trust in that are letting us down. And if we don't talk about it, it just keeps happening. And that's something that's pretty hard to deal with anyway. But and James, how was the conversation there? Did you guys talk about anything about this, or was it just sort of like we all know?
Yeah, nobody talked about it actually. It was a lot about just unity. Look, this is relevant news right now. I think the longer this will be short-term news, as I talked about with Ev Lamellin just yesterday. Like, it's the equivalent of somebody in a sense like passing away. We grieve them and we move on. And in this sense, we shame them because of their lack of integrity, and then we move on. And so I think, Attia or Attia, however we pronounce it, should be shamed in this moment, rightfully so. I'll just like you, I'll leave it at a high level. I'm not going to go into detail. And then move on, and then ask yourself, why was I trusting this person? Why was I listening to this person when I don't really, number one, if we talk about metabolic health, know that he's telling the truth. Two, if you look at his history, as you already shared, he's already defected into the high carb and statin space, like he's bought and paid for. So that's where I stand. And I want to land my comment here with back to myself. And I think we should all ask the same questions is when I was sick, when I was having the depression medications, when I was mentally ill and I was getting the anxiety medications, the doctor never said to me any negative connotations of you're not doing well. It's just I'll prescribe you. But when I went on a carnivore diet, when I, like so many of us, healed significantly, and I walk in and I get positive reinforcement immediately before I even walk in the room and says, wow, what have you been doing? And I say, eating meat only, carnivore diet. Well, the negative reaction is don't do that. That's not healthy. That's how you come in a bad space.
Yeah.
Okay, if you just look at the biggest joke in history, we all know what we're talking about. It happened 6 years ago, right? What were we told to do? Now, I've said this many, many times on these podcasts. What was the information back then from the powers to be? All these health experts in the world. All these health experts told us to sit indoors. Sit indoors, watch Netflix. You can order takeaways, but what did they do? They closed the gyms.
Yeah.
They closed the gyms, and they were telling people you're not allowed to go outside. You can't interact with people. You can't even talk to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The biggest farcical in history, and we all took all this on board, every single one of us. And when you look at those who were held accountable, has anything happened? When you were watching your loved one die in a hospital, when you weren't allowed to even go in that fucking hospital, pardon my language, it was unbelievable. I was hearing stories on the radio that people were watching their loved ones die through a window. They weren't even allowed to walk inside the house. I mean,
awful.
You know what I mean? It's just insane what was allowed to happen. What was allowed to happen? Because I lost someone during that time, and I had to watch this on a video feed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
My comment, my fundamental view on mainstream medical system is it can save lives, but it does not create healthy humans.
No.
Yeah.
Well said. Yeah, well said. I mean, you just look at Dana White from the UFC saying, "I'll never trust, fair enough.
Doctors again,
another doctor with my life, but I will, if I'm in an emergency, if I break my leg or hurt myself, I want to be helped, but not with lifestyle." And it's a bold statement, and I think there are, like, Dr. Foreign is here, and she's one of the beautiful ones, and I think that's but I don't think she's it's the system. It's not the people. It's the people in the system. I think that's our problems.
I think the most important thing is, Tony, because we can all agree, like, we don't have anything against these doctors, as as an individual. I'm sure they do amazing things, but it's just like you said, it's the system that's letting people down, and there's a difference there. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Lisa. Sorry.
No, I do. I really disagree. And if we look at Dr. Foreign that was just on here now, she isn't just going along with what she's told to say and do. She stepped out of it and she said, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to, whatever it is that she disagrees with. I'm not going to give you a statin if what you need to hear is that you need to change your diet. I'm not going to give you a vaccine if I don't think that it's for the better of your health. And I'm sorry, but if she can do that, there's nothing stopping the others from doing the same
100%.
thing. And I do have, I personally do have something against doctors who are handing out statins like Smarties. They've got the same bloody information that I have and you have. We've all got the same info. We've all got access to the information. This idea of like, oh, right, it can be one of two things. Either they don't know, sorry, bullshit, of course you know, or you want to pretend you don't know, or that it's completely true because, my livelihood. Well, sorry, if your livelihood comes before people's health, what in the hell kind of human are you?
I couldn't agree with you more.
I do have a problem with them.
I couldn't agree with you more, Lisa, because I actually had this with a healthcare worker. I'm actually working with a healthcare worker at the moment, and I've been pleading with her now for the last couple of months. You have to come on the podcast with me because she sees all this. But she's like, I cannot come on this podcast with you, Mark. I cannot have this conversation with you. And to me, I'm like, well, you're the one that knows all this information. You need to share this to the world.
Well, we all know how the world protects whistleblowers, right? That's a problem.
But that's what I'm saying. She has to earn a living, and I get all that. But surely your integrity has to come into place here. Like surely people's health like welfare needs to come into place. The health and safety of people needs to come into place here. It shouldn't be about financial gain. I get that we're all in the financial struggle at the moment, and we all have to get by. But surely we need to look at the bigger picture here.
But
I'd quit as a doctor and go and work in a shop before I would jab somebody.
Lisa, you're right. A lot of the doctors they've stopped their medical practice and they started their lifestyle.
But that was the reason why I moved. I got out of the gym industry. The gym industry was destroying people, absolutely destroying. Really? I knew, okay, I can't do this anymore because I was watching people coming in and they were being looked after PTs, and this is no word of a lie. I was watching PTs eating in front of their clients, eating food. You know what I mean? Having obese people running on treadmills. The information was horrendous. Like giving out to these people, shouting at you. How many times do you see these obese programs, and you see all these experts shouting at these people? Come on, you can do more. But in the background, they're still eating shit.
Yeah,
it's so wrong, and that's why I knew this years ago. I was like, okay, this is not right. Like I always questioned, like why wasn't I taught anything about nutrition? Because when I did my certification, when it came to personal training, they told me you're not allowed to teach anything about nutrition. Your job is just to get people in shape. I was like, how can I get people in shape if I don't tell them what to eat? And they were like, okay, we have to follow the food pyramid. You have to follow the food guidelines. This is the information I was told. Yeah. So when I came out, but that's what I'm saying.
We all know you can't exercise. You can't out exercise a bad diet. It's like it's a phrase.
Yeah, and then when I came out of that, I was like, okay, well, hang on, this is never going to work for me. So I need to learn about nutrition. And when I learned about nutrition, nothing changed. I was told the same thing. I was like, okay, well, I could have learned this when I done my PT cert. Why did I have to pay for another course to be told the same thing?
Mark, that's exactly why I'm not a nutritionist right now, because my school was wrong, flat out wrong. I was arguing every step of the way, and I thought what they were teaching me, the science part, the biology part, the biochemistry part was great. You learn about these stuff, but when you put it into practice, it's wrong. They're telling you that you need complete protein, but the most bioavailable, nutrient dense form of complete protein, don't eat. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and they're trying to move away from that. They're saying, okay, protein is the problem now.
Yeah.
Fiber is what we should be all focusing on. I mean, just think about that. Just think about that logically.
Yeah.
Just think about that logically. Like it's unbelievable.
Yeah. I had a conversation with some people close in my circle, and kind of circling back to doctors and the medical system, and they have the same information that we do. So I brought into the conversation what we know, that cancer is oftentimes due to cellular fermentation. And I'm with a cancer researcher in the depths of it. And this person responds to me as we're going through the conversation and says, you know what? Sometimes there are questions that we don't ask. Let that sit there.
Yeah.
That was the response from the cancer researcher.
My God.
Yeah. That and you know, this comes
It's scary,
down
isn't it? It's just scary.
Yeah, it is, Mark. It is.
And to tie this back into the Peter Attia thing, that sounds an awful lot like, you know, listen, I know I'm part of this. Trust me, you know, and it's just it always falls back on the faces when, you know, we don't need proof. We have the carnivore community worldwide with I don't know how many people are actively part of it. That's the proof. Do we need science to tell us any different? No.
But James will tell you this. We had this guy on 2 days ago, and this is what I kept on saying to him. I said, listen, I have two people here now that are the research here. Yeah. Like I had James on, I had Byron on, and I'm like, what other evidence do you want? And this guy kept on telling me, no, we need to go by the science here.
But
like,
that's it.
Like
that's it.
It's
you know
like,
what?
And that's why I was getting really frustrated with this guy. I was like, listen, this guy's not listening to us.
But this is the religion of science, and this goes deep. And I'm sorry, but I didn't want to take this Peter Attia bullshit to this level. But once you put on your tinfoil hat and you realize it's all bullshit, all of it. These studies are designed and funded for a purpose. They know the outcome before the study's even done. They just go through the motions to get the result they want. If they don't get the right result, they don't publish the study. It's pretty simple. Like, why do people not get that? That drives me nuts. So all these people, I didn't get a chance to hear you guys with that guy, but I can see where it's going because I'm over this. You say trust the science, or there's no study. We're studying life. We are living it.
Yeah. That, and also we shared the same thing with this individual who was very science-based. He had no lack of a spine of any sort. He had no individualism. Everything was we, the studies, the science. And I asked on the recording, point out one study. Just call out one. You're calling out so many generic we in the studies. Just point out one, and he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So, and also as a result, like the studies, we don't have to live by them. They're a guide. You're right. They're really marketing tools, marketing objectives, and that's it. And once humans or broader humanity can see that and dissect or discern that, then you realize, wow, like I'm not healthier. As we always say, look in the mirror. Am I actually emotionally healthy? Am I physically healthy? For most people, it's no. Or you're progressing in the right way, then you're doing the right thing. Yeah.
Exactly. And if you look at Bart K, Eddie Goki, what they say, what they preach is contraindicated. That word is very important because they're not claiming anything is or isn't. They're saying in all of the stuff that's been put out, it doesn't show. And there's a doctor, his name's Dr. Tom Cowan. If anybody hasn't ever heard of him, go check it out. He's pretty wild. It's wild what his theories are. But he says you don't have to prove something. You have to prove something isn't. And that's good enough. If there was a murder in where Lisa's living and they accuse me of that murder, I don't have to say I did or did. I just have to prove that I wasn't there and I didn't do it. I didn't kill the guy. That's good enough. So all these things are pushing us towards this proof, this ultimate proof. It's not proof. It proves nothing. But what we do know is it's contraindicated. You know, I'm not saying eat carbohydrates or don't eat carbohydrates, but the fact of the matter is, if you don't ever eat carbohydrates, you will be fine. You will live. Yeah. That's the thing. It's not about, are they better when you're in a high performance athlete and 10 grams of carbohydrates will increase your bench press 15%. That's not the fucking point. The point is, you don't
the point is, like, unless you do it, you cannot keep on telling me it's never going to work.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's how can you keep on convincing someone like myself that's been eating this way for 6 years, that's thriving, I'm in the best health ever. You know what I mean? I feel incredible. How can you keep telling me that this is a lie? Yeah. Like, how?
And
it comes down to that.
I think it's about perspective too. What's really interesting to me is about the timing perspective for others. And so, Mark, like you said, is it 8 years carnivore?
6.
But 6, okay. So you're 6 years, and there's other people who've been obviously over a decade. But for the people who just learn of it and they see you right now, you are their day one.
Mm-hmm.
And then they try to work from their perspective and speak from their mindset. And then all you look at is it's hilarious from your perspective because you're like, well, funny you say that because I've been doing this for 6 years. Or the other person says, I've been doing this for my entire life. So everything that you're trying to say against this lifestyle is really comical. That's really what it comes down to.
But when I look back at 6 years ago, James, this is why I think people need to understand this. I was one of the fortunate ones because I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to rely on medication. I'm going to do this for myself. I need to do this research on myself. Surely there's another way. There has to be. And I think because I was working in the fitness industry, I was working in the health industry, I was like, well, I've been preaching this for a long, long time. I've been teaching this to like coaching this to clients. So it's like, okay, well, I can't be one of these people that's broken and telling these people for years and years and years, you're not broken. You just need to exercise and live a healthy lifestyle. So when I came out of that, I was like, there's no way am I going to see the doctor and be putting on antidepressants. There's no way. No. But I was very, very close, extremely close. Because I was for me, I thought that keto was the fountain of youth. I was like, okay, this is it now. That I can't. There's nothing better than this.
Yeah.
That's why I
like, yeah, you start.
Yeah, and
you go, what?
Yeah, and I'm going low carb. I'm eating the vegetables, and I'm like, okay, well, how can it get any better than this? You know what I mean? And someone just spoke to me out of the blue. I don't know what happened, but this podcast just magically came along, and this just changed my life.
Yeah.
Changed my life. I listened to this podcast. The first time I ever heard of carnivore, never heard of carnivore in my life. All the questions were going on in my head. There's no way I can eat fat. No way. This is going to lead to high cholesterol, heart disease, all this. But it's like, you know what? I'm just going to give it a go. Yeah. I'm just going to give it a go. I'm prepared to give this a go. And if I get heart disease or heart attack, it's down to me because I did this to myself.
When you're looking at a real like self evaluation and you're looking at a good, better, best scenario and like what could possibly the outcome happen. If you look at your life, Mark, you're 50 years old, the 30 days or 90 days of carnivore is not going to be the fact that anything's going to happen. You know, you felt amazing and it's the positives that came out of it. The negatives, we've been doing stuff.
But you made a good point there, Tony. This is what I'm saying. Like, people are looking for this quick fix, and they think that after a couple of weeks, it's going to be a quick fix. Look at Michaela Peterson. Yeah. It took her 8 years to heal. Yeah. 8 years.
Yeah.
And when people are saying to me, like, how long is this going to take? I'm like, I don't know. I can't give you the answer.
I have
Go ahead, Tony.
I have a question for Lisa, because Lisa, you like. Do you try things? Do you bring things in and out of your diet? Are you set in stone on what you do? But like, this is kind of, because I think everybody's got their own way, and it's finding that way that works.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh no, I'm like you, Tony. You've said before how much you experiment. I'm always experimenting with stuff, and so as you know, I started out as a pescatarian keto person. Wow, I was in great shape. Like it felt like in 2 days, I was like, wow, I feel amazing. And then it just got better and better. But then I introduced meat back into my diet. I'd not eaten meat since I was a teenager, and just like you, Mark, it was like boom, my mental health was everything, all that bad stuff going on in my head is gone, and I just feel like so much like happier and lighter, and the baseline is just much more melodious than it had always been. You know, there'd always been like this sort of grey baseline going on in the background. But yeah, I absolutely do try different things. And you know, as I'm kind of traveling at the moment, and I was just in France, and I was like, oh, I'll try, you know, I was near a Lindor factory, you know, where they do the chocolates. I thought, I'll see how I get on with the chocolates. And I did like a little video on my YouTube about you know, the other night I did a little video on my YouTube saying, you know, how I felt on these chocolates. And then I went out for this meal, and I thought, you know, a couple of days later, and how I felt on this meal, rough is how I felt. Yeah. TLDR, rough. Oh my gosh, so rough. But I thought I'm gonna try these things, you know, and see how I feel. And I do experiment, but what I keep coming back to is that I just feel better on fatty meat. And I know there's a lot of people that say that, maybe pork or ham or bacon or whatever are not necessarily the best. But for me, I just feel amazing on them. Absolutely amazing on them.
And I think we can all agree that the deeper you go into this, you need to experiment. You need to understand the impact these foods have on your body. Because I had to do that. I had to say, okay, well, I can't get away with this anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I can't eat the fruits. The fruit even when I had a little bit. Sorry, Tony. When I had a little bit of fruit, that set me off big time.
Well, that becomes. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? And why are you doing this? If you can just ask yourself these questions why am I eating this right now? That opens up a whole new world. How do I feel after I eat this? Right away. How do I feel? How did I sleep? How did I a piece of fucking broccoli will affect you, man. Like you may not notice it, but it's, this is the thing where we're at. And I mean, I don't know about you, James, but I know you're a pretty solid carnivore. Do you try things? Do you try and bring things in just to see what happens?
Yeah, of course. I don't extend it into carbs. I have not done that, but I've been lying for the last 3 months, and I've tried to bring different things, so experiment that way. I brought eggs in twice. For me, I didn't work well. It didn't sit well with digestion. Too much bacon added in definitely brought ill effects to really like joint pains. And then the one thing I really started testing recently was adding mustard to my meat cookies, as I call them, the ground beef patties, as part of my lion approach. As I started adding mustard on top, and after about 3 days of doing it consistently, 2 meals a day, times 3 days, I started feeling like muscle soreness. And my workouts were a little bit more, weren't as freeing or exhilarating, with a little bit more tightness in the legs and the arms. So I then cut the mustard out, and now I'm back to normal.
Yeah.
So that's one really quick test that I did recently. It was about a week ago, where I added mustard, and within 3 days, I was like, all right, I definitely don't feel, that's the only addition, and I don't feel the same.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Like I've said this, and I've heard this from people, and it's like, we take drugs, they have side effects. Drugs are derived mostly from nature. They're molecules. Food is molecules made of stuff. How can we be so naive to not think that some stuff will have side effects? I'm not talking about meat or plants. I'm talking about everything. If you consume it, do we really? And that's where we get into this. This is healthy. This isn't. Oh, you got to try this. I'm not against trying something, but you got to do your self check and see how you're feeling and being honest with yourself. And you, like you just mentioned, James, and you, Lisa, and Mark, like since we've started this, I feel different when I do different things, and I choose not to do them because I feel best when I do this. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it's just the way it is. And, you have all these people that don't do that telling you how it's not sustainable long-term. Well, I've, like Mark, been doing this 6 years, and I haven't been perfectly carnivore, but I feel best when I eat steak and eggs, a little bit of butter. I have my sirloin picanha. That's my favorite thing. And it seems to be, and I kind of notice when I buy different beef, I feel different. Like we're talking like micro levels different, but I'm noticing everything now. So yeah, when I put pepper on my steak, which I don't do very often, I did last night for the first time, God, I think in a year, I felt off. And it was just enough to say, I'm not going to do pepper anymore. That's it. Is pepper bad for me? I don't fucking care because it didn't make me feel good. So I think that's where we get lost. And there's these, and tying it right back into the Peter Attias, these people tell us that we're not healthy, 2, going to die soon, and 3, stupid. That's basically in a nutshell.
We're the crazy ones, yeah.
And I mean, I think we all fight this from all angles. And I mean, that's why the carnivore community is so important, because we're not trying to tell anybody to do anything, but we're people living a certain way that are living it. And I want to shout from the rooftops. And when I started, I was 30 days in and I was like, this is insane. Now I'm 6 years in and I'm saying this is insane. Tell me one fucking diet anywhere ever that you tried and you stuck with and makes you feel like an ultimate human and you can't describe it.
This is what I said to this guy the other day. I said, listen, we have all these amazing diets out there. Every one of them, a Mediterranean, paleo, vegan, all that one. This is what he kept on saying. I was like, okay, well, name one diet that has put any condition into remission. Just give me one. He couldn't give me the answer. And this is what really frustrates me, is because we have all these people all over the world are saying that, are advocating that we should go vegan, or I think vegan and Mediterranean are probably the two biggest diets out there, apart from carnivore, obviously, and keto, obviously. And I'm like, okay, well, if you're saying that these diets are amazing, then why do we have a health crisis at the moment?
Well, no, Mark, I got to interrupt you for a second there. No, why is a diet more important to other people than yourself? And if it's not working for you and you're suffering, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah,
that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can argue. I have no problem with an ethical vegan not wanting to hurt or eat animals. That's on you. I don't even want to get into this debate, but that has nothing to do with me and my body. That has nothing to do with health. And that's where I think we get,
And if you want to go deeper and say, okay, we shouldn't be hurting the animals, we shouldn't be hurting the fucking human beings either. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, that's what it comes down to. Like, I mean, if you're telling me who should I choose, an animal or a human being, I'm sorry, the human being all day long. All day
there's
long.
no argument. There's no argument about what we.
No argument whatsoever.
There's no argument about what animals should be fed.
You're racists.
Well, I think part of it.
Go ahead, James.
What is it? Well, I was going to say, what is it that pandas eat? Do they eat like bamboo shoots or something, don't they? And the reason that, if we keep pandas, we give them bamboo shoots, because that's what they, whatever. Then they're not real. I've seen them. They but they eat bamboo shoots, don't they? You wouldn't be giving them like a steak. So be like, don't give pandas steaks. Don't give them sandwiches. They're not supposed to eat those things. It'll make them sick. So when it comes to humans, like we've actually got to eat our proper human diet, because if we don't, then we will get sick, and we're just surrounded by people who are eating what the old Western food pyramid, and are sick. Like, people are just eating everything that's in the supermarket, and they're sick, and arguing against that just doesn't make any sense, does it?
You're saying something that's very, very important for a lot of people to grasp. You can argue all day long what it is, but there is a species-specific diet for human beings.
Right.
We all can, till the no pun intended, till the cows come home, argue what that is. I've got a pretty good idea about what makes me feel good, but you know what I mean? And you're right. This is a species-specific diet that will help, that will lead you to being healthy. And there's a pretty good indication that every one of us here and everyone probably listening has felt that in some way, shape, or form. And, is it about the little bit of pepper that you're putting on your steak? Could be, but probably not. But it's, we all gravitate towards what makes us feel best. And I guarantee you, I can almost vouch for all of you, Lisa, Mark, James, Tony. James is on the James diet. Lisa's on the Lisa diet. And Mark's on the Mark diet. And we're constantly evolving and gravitating towards what makes you feel best and optimal. And I think that's something that it's like it gets lost. The science, the studies. Study me, man. Study me. N of one. And that's where I'm at. And it is frustrating. And these jerk-offs like Peter Attia, the arrogance is unbelievable. And it makes me cringe, not only to hear about what he's done, but this is what we're up against, is this main machine telling us that we're wrong, or telling us that we're stupid, or telling us that you're going to die. And like Rick mentions a lot, man, I'm waiting for my heart attack, man. And if I do get one, it ain't because of the last 6 years. My life is in chaos.
Yeah. Can you hear me with my earbuds in?
Yeah.
Go ahead, James.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I was going to say, to your point earlier, Mark, that a lot of people are just taught to regurgitate. And that includes even the doctors who have the same information in the mainstream medical system. And that includes a lot of people who are just taking information. We're just not taught to critically think. I think that's the foundation of humanity, to ask simple questions. But even if someone like Attia has a following, if someone has the funding and the confidence, as you alluded to portray the idea of truth, then people will just accept that without questioning. And I think that's where as carnivore community as a whole has taken that foundation of critical thinking and expanded it, obviously more than just food, but into other areas of life. But ultimately, I think that's where we have to help other people is to ask the question. Like, I'll just lay the question out when people ask about cholesterol. Well, isn't your cholesterol high? Well, why should I be nervous about cholesterol if I'm healthier?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can scale this back to what happened to me. I looked at all my medicine cabinet and I went, why am I taking this Advil? I have a headache. Why did I get the headache? Oh, it's probably not a good idea to just forget about the reason why I got the headache. Maybe dig into it. Oh, look, maybe you're dehydrated. Maybe you need a little bit more salt. And this changed my life, man. That little thought process, because I haven't taken an Advil, Tylenol, aspirin, any of that for 6 years. What's that all about? This is something that I've been doing. My mom's been giving me, families just taking Advil, hangovers, life, like everybody has Advil in their medicine cabinet, or what, paracetamol in the UK. I don't know what you guys have over there, but this and now all of a sudden it's like, well, am I crazy? I have not taken one through dental surgery, through this, like not one painkiller. And have I been in pain? Yeah, but I mean, is it manageable? Which is wild too. I mean, I think we can all.
And isn't it amazing that every single one of these people say that you can't do the carnivore diet because it lacks vitamin C? Now, I've spoken to you many, many times about this, Tony. I haven't had the flu in 6 years. Yeah. 6 years, and I've been told now many, many times that if you have the flu, you need to have vitamin C. I haven't had any vitamin C, so you know what I mean. That literally destroys that argument. Yeah, it's like
Wait, how's the 6 years of suffering with scurvy going, Mark?
Oh man,
I can see your gums bleeding from here.
Oh, I'm telling you. Oh my god,
that's so funny.
It's so honestly, it's just crazy. Like I'm lacking in vitamin C. I need vitamin C, but you're talking to someone that literally has not had a flu in 6 years.
Yeah. When's the last time you were sick, Lisa?
Oh goodness. Well, it was quite recently because I was quite recently because I was in a car crash, so it kind of it kind of did shake me up a little bit. But sick from for being sickness itself, not really. I've been a little bit under the weather here and there, now and then, but I don't know.
I'm sure you shaked it off very quickly though.
I do, and that's the thing. Yeah, I do, and I generally don't. To be honest, I'm not a sickly person. Or touch wood, touch wood. I don't like to say that, but generally, I'm not a sickly person, and I never really have been because I have always been one of those sort of cook from scratch sort of people, and so I've not been one of those that really pumps myself full of. Highly processed foods. And I think, well, highly processed foods for a start, and also medication. But I do what you do, Tony, which is if there's something up, I'm like, right, I've got a headache. I don't think to myself, oh, I'll take a paracetamol. Yeah. I think to myself, right, why have I got a headache? Have I not slept well? Is the air stuffy in here? Do I need a walk? Like, do I need to sleep more? Do I need to drink water? I think I'm like, right, and I'm a very intuitive person, and so I try to think to myself, right, what's going on? Why have you got a headache, Lisa? Oh, I don't know. Well, if you did know, what would it be? Because I haven't really drunk much water today. Go and get some water. Do I need some more salt in my diet? And it's the same with anything. If I get like, I don't know, I've got an ankle pain. What's that all about? Oh, I did have some peanuts yesterday. Oh, it's the peanuts, isn't it?
Yeah, you chase it back, and that's the experiment. Like when I say we become our own N of ones, like that's the same kind of the talk that just gets normal now. Like whenever I'll ask you guys about this, but I'm like super intuitive in my body. Like I feel everything. Sometimes it's actually scary because I'm like, well, am I feeling my carotid artery right now? Like, is this pulsing? Like, it's unbelievable how intuitive I get. And then I start going, is this because I'm hypersensitive, or it's not pain? It's just I'm aware of it, and I'm like, okay, what did I do? How long did I stare at the screen? Is this like? It's unbelievable what happens. James, what are you? When's the last time you had a sniffle or been sick?
Yeah, I love this conversation. I'll attest to carnivore helping me not get sick over 365 days. That's something I've called out when we got to the new year. And I recall the last time I got sick, I had COVID first, and then I had the flu. And interestingly enough, I got tested for COVID positive, follow whatever protocol exists at work. And then I get sick almost 2 weeks later. Again, this is a year ago. And I go to the doctor and I say, hey, I think I have the flu. It's funny. He defaulted to saying, no, you have this type of COVID. This can happen. I'm like, I just had it. I got tested for it. Anyway, I get tested. It's the flu. Funny. It can happen. But all that to say, it's been over a year and I have not had a cold. And something that I'm really enthused about by hopefully metabolic optimization is when I have symptoms of a sickness coming on, it goes away within half a day. Sometimes I feel the sore throat. Sometimes I feel a runny nose. And then suddenly it's like the body's recovering quickly and you're not even getting to that phase.
Yes. I do the same thing. Yes. This is actually what I do if anybody wants to try it. I take a cold shower every day. I've been doing this. It was a New Year's resolution 3 years ago, and I do it every day. I can't take a shower now without flipping it on the cold and getting cold. But whenever I feel sort of like maybe a tickle or just kind of, we all have these off days and I know the body's starting to kick in. I take a 5-minute hot shower, flip it cold, and I do that 3 times. And it's like an energy blast after it. And it's like the immune system comes alive. And I mean, I'm like Mark, aside from one bout of COVID, because I was very run down, working like 12-hour days, 5 days in a row. And my boss had COVID the whole time, and I didn't get it for 7 days later. And then my body finally went, you have COVID. But I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just like, yeah, whatever. But I didn't take any painkillers. I didn't take anything.
Good.
Yeah. Well, can I add too?
If I'm ever sick, I always say to herself, if I'm ever sick, throw me out in the sunshine.
Yes, yeah.
Just leave me out in the sunshine. Just leave me out there for a couple of hours, and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would also say, as a testament to actually healthy metabolism, really, and healthy body, is that I went through this entire year, and I work with people who have kids, and I work with people, obviously other adults, in close proximity, and everybody went around and like, oh, I'm feeling sick today. I'm gonna call out, and the little micro epidemic that happens within work offices happens, and the whole office was wiped out. I didn't miss one day because of a sickness.
Wow.
Well, James, show me a study that proves that. Okay, like what the hell?
Yeah. Well, it'll be a while.
Yeah. Well, this afternoon, because I'm sort of trying to recover a little bit from the shock of the incident at the weekend. So this afternoon, I was outside. It's not like the best weather. It's not like it's not sunshine here. I was out in my Wellingtons, and I thought I'd just kick my wellies and my socks off, and I just stood there on a big slab of stone. The dog's like going, "Come on, what are we doing? Come on!" I was like, "Just wait 5 minutes. I'm grounding," and I thought I'll just give myself that little 5 minutes of grounding, because it's important, isn't it? We walk around with plastic shoes on all the time, or we're walking around on lino or whatever, and we do need to ground ourselves. I don't have like a grounding sheet or anything with me while I travel, but yeah, it's just a little bit of something that I think can, if there is any inflammation in my body, then it'll help to reduce it.
That's
I was actually just on that point as well. When I was in Florida recently, I was actually taking out my runners walking around the parks, and no word of a lie, the rangers used to come up to me were coming up to me and saying, "Put my runners back on." Like, honestly, they were, and I was out in the open, and these people were coming up to me and saying to me, like, "You need to put your runners back on." I'm like, "Why?" Like, why? Tell me the reason why. And it's unbelievable. It's like it's madness.
It's because in the States they've got that suing mentality, haven't they? It's like if you hurt yourself on a piece of glass or a stone or I don't know, metal ring pull off a can or something, you might sue them if you've got your shoes on. Right. Like, please don't sue us. Just put your shoes on. Safer all round.
Yeah, that's gonna affect my health. But the guy over there is bleeding, eating processed food and all this crap, and you're not worried about what he's doing. It's like the hypocrisy is unbelievable.
He's gonna choke on a Dorito. How's everybody doing for time? I love it.
About another 5 minutes and I'll be done.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I'm good.
Yeah. Lisa, how are you doing? How's
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, my dog's calmed down now. He was going a bit crazy. He was humping a cushion when we first started. I thought, please don't do that right now. But he's fine now.
Well, I like how this one got a little bit lighter because it was a tough one for me to do the research and where this was going. So I'm glad that we get James. Thanks for coming on and brightening up the show, quite literally. And we're all jealous of your son because it's been raining for 65 days straight here in Vancouver. So we've been.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's raining. Actually, I'm lying. The sun's peeked through, but I wouldn't say it's the same as Florida. No. So how is the weather where you guys are? Lisa, you're in Spain. Weather must be pretty good.
I am in Spain. It's not too bad, actually. Thankfully, I'm not in the south of Spain where they've had some terrible flooding. I'm actually in the north of Spain, not too far from Pamplona. So it's all right. It's not freezing cold. It's not snowing or anything like that.
Mark, how's the weather in Ireland?
Yeah, it's great. It's fine over here. Actually, it's dry. It's mild. Actually, it's not too bad compared to what it was a few weeks ago. But James, you're in one of my favorite places. I go to Florida every single year, and I'm going again next year. I'll have to meet up with you next year.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I don't know when you're making down to Boardport.
Are you near? Well, I go to the parks. I'm up there quite regularly every year. So if you're there like at Christmas time, we'll definitely meet up because I'll be definitely going back at Christmas time.
Okay, yeah. I always love to meet carnivores in real life. That's awesome.
Well, I think this might be a good time to wind it up because everybody's got to get out in the sun and get their grounding done. Maybe have a steak. I don't know. It's you guys. It's still morning for me, so I'm not eating for like 4 hours.
I say it's evening here. The sun's gone in now. It's gone.
Yeah,
it's finished.
nearly time for bed, Brian or Tony.
Yeah, right. But I just want to say thank you guys, all of you, for this one was pretty tough to start. I didn't even know what I thought. It was just like, yeah, we're gonna talk about Peter Attia, fuck you, and all this, and then it just got really dark really quick when I started doing the research. So I've actually decided, if anybody's interested, I'm gonna do like one of my truth streams maybe in the next couple days on my channel alone, because I'm gonna take this tinfoil hat time and go into some of the stuff that I uncovered, which is frightening. And I don't think this is the place because, as much as we got to talk about it, there's some stuff that I don't want to put. It's really hard because you don't know what's true out there right now. I mean, especially with the deep fakes and the internet stuff, and anybody can manipulate anything. And it's really, trying to stay true to what we are and the information that we're giving. And we're giving opinions. Like, this is our lives. We're just explaining what we do, how we feel. We're not doctors. We're not scientists. We did have Dr. Jocelyn Foran on at the beginning. So if you're just catching it into the show, go back to the beginning. And she's a beautiful human. She says it quite often, but she is one. And we are very blessed for her to come on and talk about a doctor's perspective from what's been going on. But I'll leave it with that. Lisa, can you thank you for coming on? And we're really sorry about Friday. It's just the internet glitched and we couldn't follow through, but we're so happy that you got to come on. Not being in the chats, you're in the show, and I love it. And you've been an absolute pleasure to hang out with and talk to you. But how do people get a hold of you and let people know everything about Lisa Cherry Beaumont?
Absolutely. Oh, it's been my pleasure. I'm so pleased to be here. Thank you very much for having me on. And if anybody wants to, probably the best way to find me is if you go to my website and go to ketogentility.co.uk, or find me on Facebook under Lisa Cherry Beaumont. I've got a Facebook group for keto beginners in the UK, so I get people over that hump into keto, and then eventually I kind of push them more toward carnivore if they need it. So yeah, you can get in touch with me. I'm all over the internet under Lisa Cherry Beaumont, or go to my website, ketogentility.co.uk. I'll be very happy to hear from you. Feel free to message me.
Awesome. And James, your energy speaks. We can feel you through the connection, buddy. Always a pleasure talking to you and listening to what you have to say. And thanks for jumping on and hanging out with us, because you're always welcome and we love you. How do people find you, and if there's anything you want to let people know about?
Yes. Well, thanks for having me. I always, I'm always watching every Sunday or most Sundays, and appreciate everything that both you and Mark are doing weekly and daily on this. If people want to connect with me on social media across YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram, it's James Eats Carnivore, all one word. And the one message I would like to leave at the tail end here is alluding to what you're saying. We don't need to source truth out of scientists or doctors. The truth is the truth.
Well said.
Well done. And you're gonna send us off today this time, buddy. I want it. We're gonna do a carnivore baby. I'll cue you, Mark. Don't let me. Anyway, Mark, where any last words? Where do people find you?
Yeah, I just want to say, I want to echo what Tony said. Lisa, James, thanks very much for coming on. And Jocelyn, thanks amazing for coming on as well. And I just want to say as well, we'll be interviewing another doctor this week. Her name is Anna Rosa, I think her name is. She's actually featured in the documentary Keto, something like that. Brian is actually doing a promotion on it at the moment. He's actually promoting it. We'll be interviewing her on Friday, so it'll be interesting to see what her take is on all of this as well. So there's plenty of stuff to look forward to in the next week. And if you guys want to reach out to me, just key in Fitness Beyond Time. I'm on all platforms. I'm on social media. And if you want to reach out to me, send me an email at nsmark93@gmail.com.
Well said. And now I've got to mention the carnivore community worldwide. Brian, we love you, buddy. And I know you guys are a very big part of that, James and Mark, and we're all sort of in this together. Go support them. If you're not already on YouTube, go subscribe to the carnivore community worldwide on YouTube. Everybody needs to join together to push this message. And it's just real people talking about real things and doing it's wild. So please support them. And Brian, we do love you. We're going to get you on and talk about some things soon because, he brings a lot of weight. And congratulations, by the way, Brian. He just got his certification. He's a carnivore coach. He's in full effect. We love you. And of course, Mark and Victoria Olsen's Carnivore Evolution podcast. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, on YouTube. They're a little bit more one-on-one, and they have these great conversations with real people, real healing. And please go follow them. We love Victoria. She's amazing. She's a beautiful soul in the community. And of course, Byron, we love you, buddy. Thanks for chiming in. Our music is kindly done by Byron Funk, Carnivore Beats. He helps us out, and we love him. We appreciate him and all the music that he does. Go follow him on YouTube and on TikTok, Carnivore Beats YT. And of course, my new thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going after the GLP-1s. I'm putting together some stuff to help people come off GLP-1s.
Good.
I've been looking into this, and it's going to be $184 billion industry within 5 years. There is no support for anybody that's had any damages or has come off. And I think there's a big place for the people that need help coming off. And I will probably be asking all of you to come on and talk to some people and have a place to go with people that are concerned, questioned. And I do believe the way out of that is.
And that conversation needs to be made, Tony, because this is the reason why the calorie model is flawed.
Yeah.
It's not working. If it was working, half the population wouldn't be taking these things in the first place.
Exactly. So my whole mandate is going to be life after GLP-1s. It doesn't matter how you got there. It's what matters is what you do now. And I think getting a support network for the people that are, it's going to get worse before it gets better, in my opinion. So I'm putting together a platform for people to come and get some help. You can find me at Tony_Food for Thought on social media. And of course, if, like Mark, if you need to reach out to me, TonyStewartCoaching.com. You guys, thank you so much. This was a very hard one for me. I didn't know how to prepare this. I didn't know where it was going to go. I'm really thankful that we got to talk and say the things that we had to say, and then got into some lighter stuff towards the end. It makes me feel human. And I do appreciate all of you. And of course, thanks to Lisa, James, and Dr. Jocelyn Foran. All you guys are necessary. Mark, I love you, buddy. And Peter, all thoughts are with you. And is it your birthday, Peter? What the hell is this cryptic nonsense on our group? We wanted to wish Peter a happy birthday. He's like, maybe not yet. What does that mean? Anyway, we love you, Peter, and we hope your family's doing good. And we will see you all next week. Thank you.
See you soon. Bye bye.